Let's okay. Why don't you stand with me? I just kind of want to break off distractions real quick. I want to get us focused. I was reading this morning in John chapter 21, so I just want to share with you what I noticed. So I may do a little reading, but just let's be in an attitude of worship. After these things, Jesus manifested himself again to the disciples, which is so cool to me because he was with them all the time, and yet it says he manifested himself again. Like he's not stopping manifesting himself, even to those who are with him all the time. That's faithful. That's a faithful Jesus. But it's even cooler because he says, and he manifested himself in this way, which means it was totally in a different way than he had done before. He's always new. Not only is he manifesting himself all the time, but he's never boring. He's doing something new all the time. So Simon Peter and Thomas were at the Sea of Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee and two others of his disciples were together, so they're all hanging out. And Simon Peter said to them, I'm going to go fishing. And they said, we will come as well. And they went out into the boat, and that night they caught nothing. You guys know this story, right? They catch nothing, right? And they come back to shore, and Jesus tells them, oh, just cast your net on the other side. There's something we skip over in this story so much, and it's here. In verse 4, but when the day was now breaking, Jesus stood on the beach, but the disciples did not know it was him. So it wasn't like the disciples got to the shore and said, oh, it's Jesus telling us to put a net on the other side, so let's just do that. They didn't know it was him. So now they're taking orders, a crazy order, from someone they didn't even know who it was. This is faith. It wasn't like Jesus came out manifesting himself like we all expect he would, in the way we expect he would do it. He came as someone they didn't even know, they didn't even recognize him, and he said something crazy. Just cast it on the other side. So Jesus said to them, children, you do not have any fish, do you? And they answered, no. And he said to them, cast the net on the right-hand side of the boat, and you will find a catch. So they cast, and they weren't able to haul it in because of the great number of fish. And then they realized it was the Lord. And then they realized it was him. It was in their faith and their obedience that they recognized that the Lord was speaking to them the whole time. So this is what I want to ask for you today. Would you ask the Lord to reveal himself in a new way, so that you have an opportunity to step out in faith and obedience in a way that you have never done it before, even now as we worship? Would you even ask the Lord to throw away every single preconceived notion about how he's supposed to manifest himself to you, so that it could be new, fresh, and different? Lord, would you manifest yourself in a way to me that I need to have a little faith to listen to it? Would you manifest yourself in a way that it makes no sense? to you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was
say things like, take me back to the first love, a lot of us just go to that thing that we love to do. Like, oh, I love this. Oh, I love to do this, or I love it. But that's not what this is saying. The first love is Jesus. So when we say, take me back to the first love, would you take me back to that time where everything was simple and it was just me and Jesus? It wasn't about a thing I needed to do, or a ministry, or a gifting, or a calling, or anything. It was just this time back in the beginning when it was just me and Jesus. So would you bring me back, Lord, to the beginning when it was just me and you? And yesterday, anointing of an ancient door being opened. And the ancient doors are open, but the ancient doors was always Jesus. The ancient door from the beginning of days was always Jesus. So the ancient door, that anointing of an ancient door into times way back in the beginning was always Jesus. So would you take me back to the beginning? Take me back to the beginning, Jesus.
Back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back.
It will always be you, Jesus.
Back to the beginning,
It will always be you, Jesus.
when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields with you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, running through the fields was you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, and all I needed was you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, and all I needed was you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, and all I needed was you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young, and all I needed was you. So take me back to the beginning, when I was young,
Okay, guys, hang on a second. We got to change our perspective here a little bit. We're there, but we're not quite there, okay? We're going to change our perspective from take me back to take us back, okay? Because I wasn't back there by myself, and you weren't back there by yourself, okay? Back to the beginning. Jesus is the beginning. We were there. Yesterday, we watched, some of you watched the Koinonia culture in Kiev. Anybody see that? Not too many. Okay, Mark and Randy were there. Okay, I encourage you to get on YouTube and watch that. But I want to tell you, there was a release and an explosion of light and love. And what we want to do is we want to agree with that. So what I want to invite you to do is release the agreement that is within your spirit. Listen, we all have stuff. We all have junk, okay? We're going to go right back into it. But we all have stuff. I want you to just look past that and release the agreement with the Lord, okay? We're going to do this together. We're going to sing Take Us Back. Back to the beginning. When we were young with Him, running through the fields, okay? Let's go.
So take us
Back to the beginning, when we were young, running through the fields with you. Now get up and move.
Take us back.
Take us back. Back to the beginning. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Now we're young. We were young. We were young. Running through the fields with you. So take us back. Come on. Back to the beginning. When we were young. Come on. Running through the
fields with you. So take us back.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Back to the beginning.
Come on. When we were young.
Running through the fields with you. So take us back. Back to the beginning. When we were young.
Release it, release it, release it, release it.
So take us back. Back to the beginning. When we were young. Running through the fields with you. So take us back to the beginning when we were young, running through the fields with you. So take us back to the beginning when we were young, running through the fields with you. So take us back to the beginning when we were young, running through the fields with you. I trust you, and I trust you, I trust you, Jesus, and I trust you, yeah, I trust you, I trust you, Jesus, yeah, I trust you. I trust you. Give us faith like a child. I trust you. Give us faith like a child. Jesus. I trust you. Give us faith like a child. I trust you. Give us faith like a child. I trust you. I trust you. Jesus. My everything.
Going on in my head. Back in the beginning, Adam and Eve were clothed in the glory of the Lord. And then they lost that. And ever since then, we've all fallen short of the glory. And it says that Jesus came to bring many sons back to glory.
Yeah.
That's what's back at the beginning, us clothed in the glory of the Lord. And Jesus said, the glory that you've given to me, I give to them. That's why we have to trust Jesus. It's just that easy. He's already given it to us. The glory that you've given to me, I've given to them. It's already ours. We just have to receive it. We talked about opening the gates. Open the gates of every part of who you are, every cell of your being. Open the gates to the Lord and let the Lord's glory come in. It will transform you. That's why they see Jesus differently, because when he's with the Lord, he physically transforms. It looks different. When we're with the Lord, we physically transform every cell of our body because his light comes in and we look different. We look different. That's how people know that we've been with Jesus. And it's just that easy. It's just that easy. Just let it happen. Trust him and let it happen. It's already ours.
So come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Glory, glory, come on in. Yeah. So come on in. Come on in. So come on in. Glory,
I be lost when you have called me found? You chase me down, you seek me out. How could I be lost when you have called me found? You chase me down, you seek me out. How could I be lost when you have called me found? You chase me down, you seek me out. How could I be lost when you have called me found? Like a tidal wave crashing over me, rushing to meet me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce, and I fail. It's the only thing I found. And through it all, never let me down. You don't hold back, relentless in pursuit. With every step, I'm faced with you. Like a tidal wave, like a tidal wave, crashing over me, rushing to meet me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. You chase me down, you seek me out. God, how could I be lost when you called me found? Chase me down, you seek me out. Come on. How could I be lost when you have called me found? 'Cause you chase me down, you seek me out. How could I be lost when you have, one more time, you chase me down, you seek me out. How could I be lost when you have called me found? Like a tidal wave crashing over me, rushing to meet me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce, like a tidal wave, rushing over me, rushing to meet me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. Your love is fierce. 'Cause your love is fierce. 'Cause your love is fierce. Rushing over me, rushing to meet me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that we can't escape, through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. Trying drowning in you, Jesus. Wanna drown in you, wanna drown in you, Jesus.
This song makes me think about Jesus with the disciples. You know the story where Jesus is sleeping and they go through a storm and the disciples get scared. You remember that story, right? And the disciples get scared and they run over to Jesus and they wake Jesus up, and Jesus almost is annoyed because he's like, you know, you could have totally taken care of this yourself. Little did the disciples know that the storm was Jesus, that the boat was Jesus, that Jesus lying there was Jesus, that Jesus was in them, that Jesus was around them, that Jesus was everything. Everything. That Jesus is the door, that Jesus is the way, that Jesus is the path. I could sing about us and me and we, but it all boils down to him, Jesus. Jesus, you're the fire that I go into, you're the anvil that I lay on, and you're the hammer that pounds me out. Jesus, you are everything. Jesus, you're the tidal wave. Jesus, you're crashing over me. It's your love that's fierce. You're the hurricane. I can't escape you, Jesus. I can't escape you, Jesus. It's you, Jesus. Jesus. Listen to me, listen to me. Jesus. Everybody wants the glory of God, but the glory of God is Jesus. It says it in Hebrews that he is the radiance of his Father. It's Jesus. If you want the glory, then you're saying you want Jesus. So call out for him. Jesus. Jesus. You're the tidal wave.
Step by step.
like this now. You're the tidal wave crashing over me. You've rushed to meet me here. Your love is fierce. You're the hurricane that I can't escape. You've teared the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. You're the tidal wave crashing over me. You've rushed to meet me here. Your love is fierce. You're the hurricane that I can't escape. You've torn the atmosphere. Your love is fierce.
You're the tidal wave, come on, crashing over me, yeah, rushing to keep me here. Your love is fierce. You're a hurricane that I can't escape. Through the atmosphere, your love is
You're the tidal wave crashing over me, rushing to meet me here. 'Cause your love is fierce. 'Cause you're the hurricane that I can't escape.
through the atmosphere.
Just the voices. Your love is fierce, 'cause you're the tidal wave crashing over me, rushing to meet me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape. You've torn the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. You're the tidal wave crashing over me. You've rushing to meet me here. Your love is fierce. You're the hurricane that I won't escape. Through the atmosphere, your love is fierce.
You can do anything. You can do anything. 'Cause you are Jesus. Oh, please just do anything. You can do anything. You can do anything. Oh, you are Jesus. Yes, you are Father. You can do anything. You can do anything. You are Jesus. Thank you, Father. You can do anything. You can do anything. You are Jesus.
Jesus. I don't look at what God's doing, I look at Jesus. I look at a situation and I see Jesus. I don't see God's doing this and God's doing that. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. He just is. And we don't have to do anything either. You are just Jesus. And that's so much. It's more than enough.
back to this spot. We need to realize that I need you. I need you to be completely you, and you need me to be completely me. We all need to enter in. See this wall in front of you, and just imagine that there's nothing that can stop you because Jesus has given you everything and put you on the other side already. He's given you the ability, and if you don't think you're on the other side, that you can climb. And if you don't think you're on the other side, I want to help pull you over. You understand that? I will stand here and fight to pull you over the wall. I will live. I will die in the sense that I will die and live at the same time. I'm going to live so you can live. And you live so I can live. Because He lives. So if you're sitting there right now and you're saying, I just don't feel it. It's just not there. It's not a feeling. It's your knowing. It's your faith. It's your hope. Reach out, even if you got to see this thing that you know is not in front of you, okay? So just reach your hand out into the environment and say, Lord, I'm reaching my hand out. I see your hand, and I'm going to grab it. I don't feel it, but I know it's there. So, Lord, we're reaching out right now. We're reaching out to each other, and we're grabbing this hand that you have given us, okay? This life that you have given us. life eternal, and we're grabbing it right now. We're pulling it into ourselves. I'm pulling you into myself. I need everybody. So bring yourself in. Just bring yourself in. Allow yourself to enter the circle of life that He's given you freely. No fighting, no striving. Whatever you want to do, whatever you do is what I should say. However you act in private with the Lord, the craziness that you might do in the privacy of your home, you can do that right here. However you dance, however you sing, do it in the midst of your family. Because I need it. I need it. I need you. I need you to be fully alive. Do you want me to be fully alive? Do you want me to be fully alive? I want you to be fully alive. So I will give it all. I will give all myself.
wait a moment. There's times to not be led by anything other than what your heart is saying. So just for a moment, would you, I'm not even talking audibly, but would you let your heart sing to Jesus? Just in this silence right now, I know this may feel awkward for you, but your heart is racing right now to talk to Jesus. Just take a moment. Now, would you just say his name the way your heart said it? Would you say it the way that your heart cried for Jesus? Could you make it audible? Could you make the sound that your heart made for Jesus? If it was a sobbing mess like I am, could you say it like that? If your heart screamed, would you scream it? If your heart sang Jesus, would you sing it? Jesus. Go ahead. Jesus. Just say it the way that your heart said it. Jesus.
Papa, I'm here.
Jesus. I love you. Jesus, I love you. Jesus, I love you. Jesus. Jesus. Jesus, I love you. Jesus. 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 Oh. Jesus. Jesus. Jesus, I thank you because you've never withheld an ounce of yourself from me. Not once did you reserve yourself, but it was I who was reserved. So I only caught glimpses of who you are. But you've swung the door wide open. You have swung the door open, and you've torn it off the hinges. I thank you because you never spared yourself. You have never tithed yourself. You've never only given 10%. You've never only given a portion. But you've given everything. loved the world, not an ounce set aside, not a crumb wasted, but every part of you fully on display at the banquet table, ready to be consumed. And you've given it to us, all of it to us. What right do I have to reserve anything from you? What stand could I take against you to reserve any of myself from you? I can't, because you gave it all to me. You've held nothing back. You are the inheritance. And while I've looked for things to be the inheritance, it was you all along. Can somebody get me offering baskets, please? Bring them here. It was always you. It was always you. And in the times of my lowest depth, when I hit rock bottom, you are the rock that I hit. When I thought I smacked into the wall, it was you embracing me. The door is wide open. The door is wide open. The door is wide open. Father, I thank you for those who are bringing. And if you're bringing something up, don't bring just money, bring everything you have. I thank you for what you're doing faithfully in giving offering, but if you drop something in the basket that just looks like paper that has a president on it, then that's an obligation. If you would come up and drop everything that you have at his altar, he will give you more. So I want to give it to you all. Everything I have, I'm dropping at your altar here. This money thing is just an offering. It helps to keep the lights on. But you're a light, they'll never go off. I want to give that all to you. Every portion to Jesus, who looks at his children and sees worth, great worth. I thank you.
ahead and go to their classes. Down here. If you're new here, the little guys go this way, and kindergarten and up to 6th grade goes that way. No, you stay with me. Okay. So good morning. Honey, why don't you go ahead?
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? For those of you who don't know who we are, my name is Nick, and this is my wife, Diane. Most of you probably know Diane. She's been the administrator here for quite some time. We've been coming here and being a part of this ministry for, oh my gosh, since we got married, 12 years, almost 12 years ago. Probably actively involved within the last 5 years, I would say. We kind of just were the guys that came here and there, and were a part whenever we had the opportunity to be a part, but never really involved, just kind of showed up, got our fill, and left. So probably 5 years ago, we really invested into the culture of what's going on here. We really believe in where we're heading as a church and as a family, and we are actively a part of helping that culture be realized. So,
When they asked us to come up and share our hearts, it was kind of funny because I think we both kind of knew immediately what we wanted to share about, but did not in any way feel qualified to share about it. So we're going to go along with you guys and share with what's in our hearts, and then maybe it can be a discovery among all of us how the Father's doing this. But so what we wanted to talk about a little bit is masculinity and femininity. It's a topic that's been on my heart for a while. And here's what happened. So on January 1, about 8 o'clock, Nick is kind of familiar with me just saying, honey, I have to go right now. And he's been a very good sport, because that often means I'm just leaving him with our 3 children at whatever state they're in. And
if any of you guys have read anything that she's written, you'll know that it's worth it. So.
Well, thank you, but I still leave him with chaos quite a bit. And so I did this. It was like 7:30 at night, really close to bedtime. And any moms know that if you can bail on bedtime, you do that on purpose. This was not on purpose. So it was about 7:30. I said, honey, I have to go right now. And a lot of times that just means that the Father's trying to talk to me, and I'm not going to figure out what he's saying until I try to go start putting it out somehow. And I went down to the basement, and for probably an hour and a half, I just start blurting out all of this stuff. And I think it's coincidence that it was January 1, but it kind of turned into the theme of my heart for the year. And then at some point along the way, Nick started saying, oh my gosh, I'm the other half of this. And I want to be the other half of this. And as I'm writing, and you guys, as I'm writing, I'm going through all of this stuff. And finally about, 4 pages in, the question comes out, and I feel like I could have made it in really big font, and it said, I want to know for real what it means to be a woman. Like, for real. And I don't care anymore what the world says that is. I've heard it all, and I think we've all heard it all, both with masculinity and femininity. And in my spot, I've heard what the feminists say. And I've heard what the Democrats and the Republicans and the independents and the libertarians and all of those political groups' opinions are. I've heard what the media says that it is. I know what my mom taught me that it is. I know that what my dad viewed for me in my life. I know what Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner says that being a woman is. But over time, it's kind of gotten so that I don't even know what it really is to be a woman. And I had to chuckle. Nick and I were kind of wrecked here this morning because we're up here at worship. And
they said so take me back to the beginning when I was young, running through the fields with you. And it became really clear that the Father was going to have to remind us what he put in our DNA outside most of the resources we have to go on right now. Because I don't think anybody is walking in it, or very few. So I thought, well, okay, gosh, who can teach me? Who can teach me? Like, none of my methods were going to work. I couldn't go into, like, even with the Bible, I couldn't go into a word study of woman and start searching. You guys know me. I start searching out stuff and getting all theological with it. And it was really clear the Father was saying, no, we're going all the way back. And so we chuckled a little bit today that we were singing that so much. We're going back to the beginning. You have anything you want to jump in on?
I think about going back to the beginning, I think about Genesis 1 and when God created man in his own image. You know, when he created Adam, we always think, he created Adam, then he created Eve. Well, he kind of created both, and then he split them when he realized that Adam needed a companion. I mean, you guys all know that until the fall, man and woman was just Adam. Like, there wasn't Eve didn't have a name. Eve was just part of Adam. So the whole concept of where she was going, whenever she started diving into femininity, it called up into me, if she's going to dive into what femininity is, I should probably figure out what being a man is and what masculinity looks like, because femininity without that pairing of the masculinity is just, it doesn't work without both. And the Father realized that too. They decided, hey, we're going to make them together. We're going to make them male and female. And then he realized, hey, you know what? We need a companion here. So he split them and made them companions together with each other, which is really, really important. And that's why it only works together.
Yeah, I want to go there. Can we go to Genesis 1? I think that starts in 26. Huh? Please. Yeah. So Genesis 1:26 says, "Then God said, 'Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the sky, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth.' God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them." Where's the second part, 26?
Second chapter.
Okay. And then Nick was saying where God said it's not good for him to be alone. I always hated the verse. In Genesis 2, it talks about when God made man. And in verse 21 of Genesis 2, it says, "So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept, and he took one of the ribs and closed up that place with flesh. The Lord fashioned into the Lord God fashioned into a woman the rib which he had taken from the man and brought her to the man." I hated that story because I felt like spare parts. It's like the Lord said, okay, he needs a friend, a companion. He's got a couple ribs. He can, he can lose one of those and not, it's almost like the Lord should have used, is it the appendix or the gallbladder or stuff they can take out and you barely miss it?
The appendix.
That's how I felt about that story. The Lord said he needs a companion, so I'll take a spare part and I'll do it together. And while the Lord was in the very beginning of talking to me about femininity, he called me back to this story. And this is actually the very first place the Lord even allowed me to go outside of his spirit. He wanted the beginning. It's like he was responding to my request for femininity by saying, well, then you're going to have to go back to what I originally had in mind. So the story is different. It's actually like he said, but if you continue, it says in verse 23, "The man said, 'This is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man.'" And if you read that, it actually means, and you remember within the paradigm of Genesis 1, where he said, "Let us make man in our image and likeness," the Father put the full amount, all of himself, image and likeness, into the creation of man. So when it was time to make a companion for man, there was nothing left to work with.
He tried even. I mean, you think about how
That's
he
right.
named all the animals, and all of them were brought before Adam, and Adam named them all, and among all the animals, he couldn't find a suitable companion. So he wasn't just naming the animals, he was trying to find a companion for man. And he was like, oh, this isn't going to work. I got to make a companion. And he's like, well, I don't know what to use. Oh, I'll take what I put in man, and I'll make a companion because it just makes sense.
So it's like the Father said, okay, so we're gonna split these two. And so he took whole parts, like whole qualities of himself, and took it out of Adam and put it into Eve. Do you see? So now God, the fullness of God, has been placed within man and woman. And it's actually kind of interesting. Have you ever had a completely different perspective than a man, like a woman? Have you ever been like, that is not what I said. Well, it's the same with Nick. Nick will say,
it goes both ways.
Nick will say, I don't understand why you're all the way over here, and clearly we should be.
So guys, we've had this conversation, right? You have a conversation and you're talking, and then you say, oh, so it's this. And she's like, no, that's not even close to what I was talking about. Your brain was in this place talking about whatever it was you were talking about, and you logically went to the answer and the solution. She's just telling you a story so you can say, oh, that's too bad. I'm with you in it. Let's go for it. She doesn't want the answer. That's the awesomeness of man and woman. There's a healthy tension there, right, where the man has a perspective of logic and strength and solutions, and the woman has that passion and that I don't know what else to call it, but it's just different. And if we just were like, it's the same thing with any kind of relationship. If you're exactly the same and you think the same things all the time, there's not much relationship there. And that healthy tension that happens whenever there's true relationship is good for the relationship and good for the health of who you are as a couple, as a family. It's all necessary.
So it's literally like, okay, so we'll just, at the end of chapter 2 in Genesis, it says, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And the man and his wife were naked, and they were both unashamed. So it's like the Father said, this is why marriage exists. Because without the full expression of masculinity and the full expression of femininity, the Father's fullness, his image and his likeness is still kind of blurry. It's still kind of your word is unrealized. It's there, the potential is there. It's all in there, but it's kind of hidden from view. So do you want to go? Or do you want to go to Psalm 45? Do you want to go? Okay, just keep going. Okay, so then if we go to Romans 8, where's Joyce? Is she here today? Joyce loves Romans 8. Romans 8:15. We read this a lot, but I want to get the. It's ironic. I didn't bring my laptop up here. Yeah, please.
So starting in verse 15, for you have not received a spirit of slavery leading to fear again, but you have received a spirit of adoptions as sons, which we can cry out, Abba, Father. The Spirit himself testifies with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, we are heirs also, heirs of God and fellow heirs with Christ. If indeed we suffer with him, so that we may also be glorified with him. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is to be revealed to us. For the anxious longing of the creation waits eagerly for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself also will be set free from its slavery to corruption into the freedom of the glory of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and suffers the pains of childbirth together until now, and not only this, but we ourselves, having the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting eagerly for the adoptions as sons, the redemptions of our body.
So we know, like based in Genesis 3, is everybody familiar with how this thing fell apart? We all know the story of Adam and Eve in the tree, right? In the fruit, and this woman you gave to me, and the whole. Do we know that, or do we need to go there? Okay, so we know now that Eden is history. Eden is past, and was no longer accessible. And it talks about in Romans 8 how the earth is groaning. And I think we feel that inside, don't we? Like we know that this thing we're living right now is not quite aligned. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like I think one of the reasons we love Romans 8 is when he said it's groaning, because I think inside we feel that too. We like, yes, it is groaning, because from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, and sometimes I even dream, and I feel it like inside. Maybe girls do. I don't know. Do you guys feel that? Yeah. But I've learned to ask that question because it turns out we don't always think the same things. But we know that the earth is groaning. But 1 John 3 says the Son of God appeared for this purpose. Can you finish that? To destroy the works of the devil. And then I love this. Jesus from the cross said, it is finished. So now we have full permission, full access, and everything by his Spirit to return to what he originally envisioned. And so that's why masculinity and femininity in our home, I'll show you why, it has become very important. Bounce back to Genesis, I think 1. Yes, it is Genesis 1. So one day I'm in my car and I'm talking to my steering wheel. And the Father asked me to read this backwards. So we're going to read it start in 26. We'll read it forwards first. So God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. So that's point 1. Let us make man in our image according to our likeness. And let them rule. Okay, point 2. And then at the end of 27, he says, God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created him. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. So that's the third point. So what are they? We've got first, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Let him rule. And when he created them, he made them male and female. So if we're rewinding, let's rewind. Point 3, he made them male and female. We start to rediscover full-on masculinity, unapologetic men, okay? Fully beautiful femininity, okay? We rediscover it. We wrestle for it. We'll get to that in a minute. Full-on, can you hold that? Full-on masculinity, full-on femininity. And we blend them together, okay? When that is merged again, when we are truly the healthy tension of all the characteristics of the Father, rule is restored. Okay, so that's point 2. When men and women, full on in their design, restore, rule is restored, the image and likeness of the Father on the earth is restored. When we started wrestling with this and we realized how important it was in our home, we started to understand why there is such intentional confusion about gender. It's the way back. Do you see that? As long as we can keep ourselves fussing about what this means, and we can start dialoguing over the stupid details of it, like for instance, would you like to say something? No. Okay, I'm sorry. He'll jump in. I shared this with a gal in Tennessee, and most of her life she has had interest in what
the world defines as men or masculine, or we have these things that's a guy thing, or my daughter this morning said, she said, there's a friend of mine that she does all boy things. And she named off some boy things, and I was like, Allie, that's not boy things. That's just
She
something
plays basketball, Daddy.
Yeah, she plays basketball. That's a boy thing. So, I mean, not that the world says that basketball is a boy thing, but
That's her.
we have already at 5 years old, she's being told what's a thing that boys do and what's a thing that girls do. And it's defined by the world. The world's saying this is boy, this is girl. And if you're not doing boy things, well, you better question yourself. And if as a boy, and if you're a girl and you're not doing girl things, you better question yourself because you're not a real girl. And that what you do does not define your femininity or your masculinity. I want to make that very clear. That is not what defines who you are. Your identity and who you were designed to be by the Father, and how you walk in that with relationship is what defines your femininity and your masculinity.
How you carry yourself, So this woman I was sharing this with, her whole life she's been told she's not really a woman. Can you imagine how damaging that is? And I pointed, like, because I knew her just a little bit, I'd built a little relationship with her. I said, but you told me about how your daughter comes to you after school and like seeks out your company to like rehash your day. Like you nurture her and you like build that character within you. You guys have a good, she said, yeah, that's true. And I said, you told me about how your husband is really excited about the things that you're doing and how great your relation. Yes, that's also true. I looked at her and I said, your femininity is awake. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm really a woman. Oh my gosh, I'm really a woman. This woman must have been 45 or 50 years old. So, you want to go there? Okay. So this is where we jump off into things we're discovering.
We're walking in and figuring out ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not like we have this all together.
Why don't
For
you do
sure.
this one?
Yeah. So as we were talking about masculinity and femininity, we kind of came up with just based on what we looked at in Scripture and just us hashing out what we felt like masculinity and femininity looked like. We kind of came up with this little statement here. So the simple expression of masculinity at its base is strength. Strength, when it's mated with identity, breeds power.
Say it again.
The simple expression of masculinity is strength. Strength, when mated with identity, breeds power. Okay, so strength without identity typically leads to things like oppression, bullying, things that aren't healthy for. Without that identity mated with it, strength can be very dangerous. But when it's mated with identity, it breeds power. Femininity.
Yeah, but okay.
You got an issue?
No, I always have an issue. So when the Father was talking, okay, I want to do this before we do this. There's a spot in Ephesians 3, we're not going to go there, but this is the part we really need. In order to, what time is it, by the way? In order to the Father to like restore what he originally saw, we have to let him teach us. And that, for some reason, as his church, is really difficult for us to allow him to do, because we really want to point to the place or the instructor or the teacher or the credible source by which we have learned what we've learned. But as sons, the Father teaches us. And I heard over someday where somebody said, well, if you want to learn something, just repeat it over and over and over and over again until it becomes habit. Like, and how many times do we do that? Just repeat it over, memorize it, right? And then we were talking last night how it just kind of becomes habit. You can skip your spirit, you can change your behavior and skip your spirit entirely. But that's not going to bring the living resurrection of Christ from within, right? It's just going to be like this regurgitated, learned performance response, right? But in Ephesians 3, Paul hides in there this perfect way to allow yourself to be transformed from the inside out. At the end, the verse goes like this. It starts in 16. If you want to write it down, you can go look at it later. But it says that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in the inner man, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, and so that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend. So you follow that. It says, so that you would be strengthened with power through his Spirit in your inner man. It starts there. You just let him start talking to you. You just let him start talking. Sometimes you hear it, sometimes it's a sense, sometimes it's like for girls, I can't really describe how it happens for guys, but I know girls are highly instinctual and emotional, and we just feel things. That's how it happens for me. I just start having this thing, and it allows me to start talking to the Father about it. You guys, I don't know, you're still a mystery. I told you we're learning. But then it says, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. So you take this thing that his Spirit is teaching you, and you start allowing the faith of Christ to combine with it in your heart. You start allowing your faith to help you believe what is being stirred here. Okay? And then it says that you being rooted and grounded in love may be able to comprehend. It turns out your mind by the Spirit is one of the last things to kind of click. Okay? So that's how femininity and masculinity has looked like for Nick and I. And we've been talking back and forth in our kitchen about it quite a bit, because I'll say, yeah, but shouldn't guys do this? He'll be like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not in me. And he'll say, like, girls are this. And I'll be like, I don't like that at all. So just hashing it out is helping us to, like, stir things until our mind comprehends and understands what the Father has always laid there.
I once heard a guy say that him and his wife have never fought, and he kind of put that as like a badge of honor. I don't know if I like that. That doesn't feel like, I don't know. I think that healthy tension and healthy hashing it out, if you want to call it, intense family conversation, whatever you want to call it, I think that's healthy for a relationship, because it causes you to go deeper. It causes her to go deeper. It brings out what's truly on the inside of you. If you're always happy-go-lucky and always having fun, I mean, it's always superficial, It's always just on that top level of, oh yeah, we're great, we're having fun, it's great. When you get into the nitty-gritty and you start to hash, that's when the real you comes out, and you get to talk about it together. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's ugly, and sometimes it feels really, really harsh, but isn't that kind of how our relationship with the Lord is sometimes? Sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it feels really, really bad, and sometimes you're like, man, can we just go back to the sunshine and roses and skipping across the fields and all that fun stuff? But that's part of growth. That's part of becoming who you were designed to be. It has to be.
Yeah. So I say all that to say, when we said that the simple expression of masculinity is strength, I rebelled a little bit, because I've always taken a ton of pride in being strong. And then it got worse, because the Lord starts talking to us about femininity again, and we decided, like between us, this is where we're at, we decided that the simple expression of femininity is beauty. And if I disliked strength for masculinity, I disliked beauty for femininity even worse. Because beauty to me has always been something just outside of attainable for me, in terms of actually combining with it in my heart and believing that about myself. Not a negative self-image, but I always, like, if you were on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 being that's really unfortunate, you are probably on a poster somewhere, and 10 being just, the glory of the Father himself, I always thought I'm a healthy 6.5. And that was enough to keep me, like, all right, getting out of bed in the morning, right? But the Father starts talking about beauty, and it's so different. And I think sometimes, even, I know this for sure, to rediscover masculinity and femininity is going to require the redefinition of a lot of things. Strength being one of them, beauty being one of them. So the simple expression of femininity is beauty. Beauty, when mated with identity, breeds influence. I had somebody tell me one time that their femininity is really powerful. I disagree. Femininity is very influential. Femininity it draws you in, and femininity can get past walls that masculinity just hits and bangs at. Like, how many of it, like, you need dad and mom because mom is tough and mom, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Femininity is very influential. We were talking last night about JL, the Was she an Israelite? I don't know what she was. We should have read the story before we mentioned this. But essentially, the king of Syria comes into her home and falls asleep.
She lures him to sleep.
She lures him to sleep. Nick, this is even better for femininity. She had no aggression such that this king of the enemy of Israel falls asleep and she drives a tent peg through his head.
If you guys don't know that story, look it up. It's a pretty cool story. But I mean, do you think that a guy would have ever been able to lure this king of Syria to sleep? Probably not, because he would always be on his guard because it was a man.
But a woman, her influence put him to sleep. I'm sorry. Is that gory for you? It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
But here's where it marries together. So we've got this full expression of masculinity partnered with its identity, and this full expression of femininity partnered with its identity. And when you merge those two together, and they unite in committed devotion and healthy tension. So you stay in there and you wrestle it out, and you find ways to fully manifest the strong father heart of the father and his tender mother's heart, because he's got both. He can be them at the same time. And so in our families, we find ways to merge this really, this full-on dad and a full-on mom to manifest him. And it accomplishes victory, first in the home with your family. One time I was in my car, and I was like, oh my goodness, femininity is amazing. How have I never seen this before? Lord, and I start praying, Lord, tell me every place that I can take my femininity in the earth. Tell me all the things it's going to accomplish. Tell me every amazing thing this is going to do. And he goes, would you just stop? Your femininity, this is true for masculinity too. Your femininity or masculinity is first for those with you. So like for me, my femininity is first for my husband, my children, and the men who love me. His masculinity is first for me, first for our children, and first for the women who love him, because he provides that father's balance for who they are.
I remember hearing Mark say this one time, and it just really rung true to me. Anything that he's ever talked about up here, he's first practiced in his home. I think that's really important, that if it's not working in your home, I don't know that you have, like, I don't know, I guess it feels a little, I don't know what the word is for it, but it doesn't ring quite true if you're talking about something, but then your home is in disarray. And I think it's very important that you have a strong home and you work it out in your home, and you flesh it out in your family, and you figure out how it works before you bring it before anybody else. I think that's really, really important.
And I think, and that completes it too. So if you have a family, and we're not keeping singles out here, the whole thing works. So like, if there's single guys and single girls working this out, work it out. Work it out with your family. Work it out with us. Work it out. What? And with your Heavenly Father. This is something we were talking about last night. That is why first identity, first sonship, first the Father being your Father is important, because he invests in us the capability to fully manifest ourselves when the situations around us aren't drawing it out. So like, for instance, when Nick is full on masculine, it is no problem for me to be a girl. No problem. Because like he's got all of his stuff covered, and so I have no problem but to respond. Like, this is no problem. I'm just gonna keep it G for you. But if he slips off his white Charger for a moment, the Father's sourcing of me, I shouldn't do this, the Father's sourcing of me equips me with what I need to stay completely feminine when I'm not able to respond to the environment around me, when the environment around me isn't making that easy. So when humanity manifests the complete masculinity and femininity of the Father, one among the other, the image and likeness of the Father, his fullness is restored. It's really cool.
Yeah. So my wife found an awesome translation of a psalm that I really feel speaks to this. And when she first read it, I thought, like, probably the flesh in me, or the struggles that I still have at getting out, the flesh in me, really struggled to see myself in this story of it's a wedding song. So it talks about the bride and the groom. And it's a really beautiful picture, I think, of the design that the Lord has for the man and the woman and how they work together to bring his kingdom to the earth, honestly. So we're gonna read this for you, and I just want you guys to hear this and not think, oh man, that couldn't be talking about me, because that was the first when she first read. I was like, okay, that's great. That's got to be, they're talking about Jesus. They can't be talking about guys. But I think this absolutely talks about men and how we're supposed to walk. So it's
Divided.
okay.
That one's right there. His royal.
So this is about His Royal Majesty, okay? So when they're talking, this is a wedding song. You are the most wonderful and winsome of all men. What did we say winsome meant?
Okay, so winsome talks about boyish charm.
Yes.
And so yesterday I was at Nick's parents' house, and there's a picture on his wall of his graduation picture. And Nick and I fell in love like 6 months before this picture was taken. So I understand completely what it means by winsome, because I fell in love with my husband with his boyhood looks. So I actually had a moment with that picture. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were the
It was
most
me.
wonderful and winsome.
There you go. Elegant grace pours out through every word you speak. Truly, God has anointed you His favored one for eternity. Now strap your lightning sword of judgment upon your side, O mighty warrior, so majestic. You are full of beauty and splendor as you go out to war. In your glory and grandeur go forth in victory. Through your faithfulness and meekness, the cause of truth and justice will stand. All inspiring miracles are accomplished by your power, leaving everyone dazed and astonished. Your wounding leaves men's hearts defeated as they fall before you broken. Your glory kingdom, O God, endures forever. You are enthroned to rule with a justice scepter in your hand. You are passionate for righteousness, and you hate lawlessness. This is why God, your God, crowns you with bliss above your fellow kings. He has anointed you more than any other with His oil of fervent joy, the very fragrance of heaven's gladness. Your royal robes release the scent of suffering love for your bride. The odor of aromatic incense is upon you. From the pure and shining place, such lovely music that makes you glad is played for your pleasure.
Yeah, I'm going to side note. I love where it says, your royal robes release the scent of suffering love for your bride. I love that. It goes back to Ephesians 5 where it talks about men, love your wives as Christ loved the church, that royal robe, suffering love. Anyway, so that first part of that psalm is addressed to His royal majesty. And then the rest of it is addressed to her royal majesty. It says, the daughters of kings, women of honor, are maidens in your court. And standing beside you, glistening in your pure and golden glory, is the beautiful bride to be. Now listen, daughter, pay attention and forget about your past. Put behind you every attachment to the familiar, even those who once were close to you. For your royal bridegroom is ravished by your beautiful brightness. Bow in reverence before Him, for He is your Lord. Wedding presents pour in from those of great wealth. The royal friends of the bridegroom shower you with gifts. As the princess bride enters the palace, how glorious she appears within the holy chamber, enrobed with a wedding dress embroidered with pure gold. Lovely and stunning, she leads the procession with all her bridesmaids as they come before you, the bridegroom king. What a majestic, grand entrance. A joyful, glad procession as they enter the palace gates. And here's the thing. Your many sons will one day be kings, just like their father. They will sit on royal thrones all around the world. I will make sure the fame of your name is honored in every generation as all the people praise you, giving you thanks forever and ever. I love that. So can I close with this and we'll call Wayne? Okay. Do you have anything else? Okay. So I want to pray to close, and I'm going to pray out of Romans. And I dug into this a little bit, and Leslie, this is perfect for what you shared earlier, that transfigured. So being transfigured into the glory of the Father, restored to that. So let's pray. Therefore, I urge you, brothers, by the longing compassion of God, that you present your bodies a full vigor, fresh, strong, and holy sacrifice acceptable to God, which is your sacred act. Do not be patterned by this world any longer, but be transfigured and metamorphosized by the complete renovation of your mind, so that you may demonstrate as authentic and genuine the purpose and desire of God, which is well-pleasing and finished. We love you all. Okay, before we close, Wayne, did you want to come up and share?
Don't worry, I'm not going to talk an hour. I could after Diane and Nick talked here about what it means to be a couple, male and female, and the uniqueness of each, and it's very good. Thank you for that encouragement. I do want to just share with you this morning, just a couple of minutes, about an event that's coming, and it's going to happen here at World Harvest, but it's not necessarily a World Harvest event. It's a Spring of Hope event, which I am the director of Spring of Hope, and it's going to be taking place on Monday, 2 weeks from tomorrow evening, April the 18th, here at this facility, from 7 o'clock until about 8:30. And we're just going to have a time for you to learn what Spring of Hope is. You see the sign back here at the office, and you probably say, what is Spring of Hope Prayer Counseling, and what do they do, and why do they do it, and what's so important about it? Well, I probably spend as much time here as anybody. I spend a lot of time here, and what I do and what my wife and I do together, and we have a team of about 10 counselors, and we do prayer counseling. And we're going to have an event here on the 18th of April and help you to understand what we do. It's on the overhead right now. And we're going to explain that evening a lot of what we do and just have an interaction with our team of counselors, our board of directors, and other guests. And that evening, we're going to have a time of interviewing different people. And one of the persons we're going to interview, or maybe be two persons, will be those that have received counseling from Spring of Hope and how it has helped their lives and changed their lives. Another one that's going to be interviewed is you probably have heard us talk about Elijah House training. Those that have went through, they're going to interview a person or a couple that have went through the Elijah House training and how it has impacted them and changed their lives, is how they interact with people. Another one we're going to do an interview with is one of our counselors of how they interact with people. And we talk about going back to that original. God has an original design on our lives. When we get away from that, then things begin to happen. And God wants to bring us back to that original place of his original design on our lives. And they're going to be talking about how we interact with people on personal issues, how we interact with people on marriage relationships, dealing with singles, dealing with teens, dealing with children, dealing with different aspects of what we do at Spring of Hope. And then they're going to interview me, how Spring of Hope developed 14 years ago, and what it has developed into today, of having a team of 10 or 11 counselors. Last year, we did over 1,300 appointments at our office, which the main office is in Waynesboro. World Harvest gives us a room here as a satellite office. And so they're going to interview me of how I interact with pastors, how I interact with business leaders in the Franklin County area, how Spring of Hope interacts with the court system, and how they refer people to our office for counseling, different aspects of the ministry. And of course, it's also, as you see there, it's a fundraising evening. And so we do, people do give us financial support as they receive counseling from us if they are able to, but many people are not able to do that. And so we have to raise funds for the ministry, which we have to raise about $55,000 to $60,000 a year. just keep the ministry going. And that evening would be a part of the fundraising opportunity that you have. And so you're going to get a paper this morning as you leave. There's going to be several ladies in the back giving you an invitation. This is an open invitation to you to be a part of that evening. On the paper, you'll see a phone number to call or talk to my wife and I or Autumn, and to find out about how to be a part of it. And I just want to really invite each of you to come and be a part of it that evening. And just give us a call ahead of time or talk to us to reserve your spot. We will have snacks, we'll have desserts, and we'll have about a 45-minute meeting, and you'll have a time of seeing what we do, visibly seeing what we do. So this is your opportunity to be a part and learn of what Spring of Hope is. It's a 501c3 nonprofit ministry, and that's why it has to be a fundraising event. So thank you for the opportunity. Do you want to come and, Ben, do you want to close out? You can do it.
Right. Okay, so for that, I don't know if you're reading this fine print, but please RSVP over to the number there. I think they will also be on the paper by the 8th. And I don't know how else to close it, but say thank you, and we'll see you. Hey, I want to do that by saying this. On Wednesdays, we have an awesome Bible study. Like, we really have a really, really, really great Bible study. And we sit and we get to talk about things, and we actually get to say crazy stuff, and then, talk ourselves maybe out of some things and talk ourselves into something. I would really love for you to come. I mean, there's stuff going on during the week that I would love for you guys to be. I mean, Spring of Hope is one of those things that's happening in this building throughout the week. Wednesday night is another. So I am personally inviting you, and I would love to see you there. So, but until Wednesday, I'm not even going to say till Sunday. Until Wednesday, when I see you again, go out and just spread Jesus everywhere you go. And then I'll tell you Wednesday to spread Jesus until Sunday. So we love you. Have a great few days. Bye.